On the back of a win double for the first time in a while, and if we talk first of all about, you obviously brought Angus MacDonald in, and well, I brought him in, but you've extended his deal.
Yes.
It's that time of the season where I guess you're looking at players for next season and getting to contracts and what have you, and youth team players coming up and those sorts of things. How much closer are you to finalising some of the deals for the summer and ahead for next season?
Well, we're formulating the offers, let's put it that way, for the people that we want to keep. I'm not having any discussions yet until the final game is finished, because I think that's right, so that all the players can give as much as they can till the end of the season, and then we'll sit down with all the players the Monday after the final game and discuss who stays and perhaps who doesn't. But I can't fault the lads' commitment and effort. It's been magnificent the last couple of games.
How difficult is it? Obviously, I'm sure you can't comment too much about the ownership, although if you want to tell me what you know, feel free. But is that a bit difficult as well, because you don't necessarily know who is going to be in charge of the club come the summer, therefore you don't know what resources you may or may not be given. You know, if an Arab oil billionaire comes in, you could be signing Cristiano Ronaldo, so to speak.
Well, you never know, do you? No, I think that we don't know the exact parties involved. What we do know is it's quite far down the road with one particular party that seem to be the favourites to take over. Thea's leaving the club in a really solid position. She's done a lot for this club, as did Paul. It's there for someone else to take the challenge on, and hopefully we can take the club forward.
Do you know roughly what sort of financial budget you've got to work with for next season? Have you been given any sort of clues or assurances from the people who are in discussion? No,
not at all. We're not even getting to that stage of conversation. All we're concentrating on, or all the people involved are concentrating on, is trying to get this secured so that obviously we can take this great club forward. If it happens, then it's going to be competitive, I'm sure. If it doesn't, then we have to make the best of the situation. Whatever scenario, I'm ready for it.
I'm sure. And on the field, which is obviously most important at this time of the season, how is atmosphere in the camp? 2 wins in a row, both in the league, and creating chances as well, certainly in that first half. It must be a lot happier than, say, 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Definitely, it is. We didn't get the results that the performances warranted in the previous 2 or 3 games before these 2 victories, which is a shame. And it has been a tough spell, no doubt about it, but the last 2 games have at least put us in a more respectable position for a club of this size in this league. So we are pleased, but we want to finish the season with 2 more wins.
Bearing in mind the players you had unavailable, so to speak, or weren't in the squad, and you had the 2 youth players in there, a couple of loanees, a non-contract player, how impressed were you with that victory? Because it was the first time that 11 I think had played together, or certainly the second time.
Oh, it was a really, really good victory. There are some young boys on there. There are some lads that are as I say, fighting for their careers on very small amounts of money, and they're fantastic. I thank them so much for their efforts. That they've been magnificent in their application, honestly. So to that end, it was a good result, because Lincoln were tough. They're a hard team to beat, very direct. The credit has to go to the players for their work rate and effort. Fans stuck with them, and it's appreciated.
An away trip to Halifax, penultimate day of the season. I'm guessing going up on the day. That's obviously going to be a tough one. It's a long old journey up to Halifax, isn't it? How difficult do you feel it might be for the players to prepare, having sat on the bus for probably the best part of 6 hours? Well,
it's a long way up there, but once the whistle goes, the players forget all of that and just get on with it. We know what we want to do. We want to finish in a good position, so they have to prepare themselves mentally when that whistle goes to put in a good performance and win. that's all I want to do.
Indeed, that's all anybody wants
Yeah.
to do, isn't it? Ashley Oman came off the bench, scored a goal. You praised him on his aggressiveness and that sort of thing. Is he pushing for a start
He
up
is.
in the north?
Definitely. Regardless of the goal, like I said the other night, he did the things that I wanted him to do. Yes, he gets fleeting appearances. We judge it on training, we judge it on performances off the bench. Can't argue with his performance of the night. His first touch was magnificent. It's a great finish, and as I say, the aggression got him that chance because it put his centre half on the back foot and enabled him to get in that position. So really pleased for him. He's a really good lad. Is Ash. We want him to do well, and we want him to come out of that shell and be that sort of aggressive centre forward that we're looking for in him. Showed good signs of the night. 2
clean sheets in a row for Dan Lavercombe. I mean, you have a real competition now for that number 1 spot again in goal. And what are your feelings going into this with regards? Will Dan keep his place? Is it time to bring Martin back after he had a rest? What are you feeling?
No, Dan will play. He's a real big talent, and I know people are looking at him already, and I don't blame them for doing that because I've got no doubt he's going to have a good long career. Very calm, very assured for someone of his age, and we've got a real prospect with Dan. So looking forward to working with him.
Am I right? He's a second-year scholar, so
Yeah.
he would, I presume, be offered professional.
That's
training.
right.
What's the status with that then? Do you think?
Well,
he'll
it's,
accept?
yeah. Well, the offers will be going in to players that we want to keep, and
Is he one of them?
yes, he is, and you know he's obviously he wants to stay, so we're happy to do that.
And that must be a great fillip for you to have a player who, if he is good as his potential in his first 3 games shows, is A, great for the team, and B, great value for the club going forward if you sell him or if he can help take you back into the Football League.
Well, it gives credit to the youth department and the coaches that have worked hard with Dan. You know, I've got to play him, and I've done that with the young lads of the time here. Some have not been our players, but I've played young lads and had the bravery to do that, such as Levi and Dan, and I can't fault them. They've been 2 of the most consistent performers in the last couple of games, and Levi previous to that has. So we need to get that mix right, don't we? We need to get the youth through this football club, but we need those experienced leaders as well if we're going to mount a serious challenge next season to get out of this league.
And a great way to end the season would be for 3 wins in a row, wouldn't it?
Well, it would, yeah. It's going to be tough because the team we're playing just missed out, so they're not a bad outfit, are they? And they'll be looking to put a good show on for their supporters. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of disappointment, so we need to sort of play on that if we can. But we're expecting a tough game.